There is a difference between being free and having freedoms or privileges. And I've talked about this before. There is something in North Korea known as the caste system. And basically what this is a social credit score that is based upon your compliance and your support of the government. The more compliant you are, the more supportive you are, the more access you gain to resources. Now, just for the record, there are no free people in North Korea. There are simply those that have access to more resources, that have freedoms or privileges. And it's not based on their God-given rights. It's not based on an equal and free society. It is solely based on how compliant they are with the government and what the government wants to do. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, some of these same principles have found their way into the United States and its culture. And you look at places specifically like New York City, where they have completely lost their minds. They literally went from being one of the greatest cities in the world to show me your papers in the span of 2 years. They have a vaccine mandate. You cannot get a job unless you're vaccinated. If you were working in the healthcare field, you couldn't keep your job unless you got vaccinated. And now you have to show your vaccination ID, your vaccination card, wherever you go, even if you want to go out to eat. The people of New York, they are not living freely, folks. They are just simply living with the privileges that have been bestowed upon them by the government because they have done what the government wants them to do. The government has taken the very basic and the very simple things of American life and turned them into a bargaining chip. They're using them as a bargaining chip against the American people to accomplish what they want. They've tried to paint us into a corner and make us feel like that the only way for us to be able to live normally, the only way to return to normal life is to do exactly what they say, exactly how they say to do it. And we have given the government so much power at this point that we're basically throwing our rights away, we're throwing our freedoms away, one emergency at a time. All of this nonsense with the mandates, it needs to stop. Somebody asked me a couple of months ago if I was in favor of mandates. And I told him I wasn't in favor of any mandates at all from either side. Left, right, Republican, Democrat, pro-mask, anti-mask, pro-vax, anti-vax. I'm not in favor of any of it. Because ultimately, that means the power is taken away from the people. If every side is just using the government as a battering ram to get what they want, then everywhere you look, it's just simply going to be big government, big Republican government, big Democrat government, being in control of every aspect of your life. And in the end, who loses out? The people do. The people will suffer because of it. Give the power back to the people. And as the vaccine and testing mandate for employers dies at the feet of the Supreme Court, let all of this other nonsense, let all of these other attempts at a power grab, attempts at tyranny, all of these other mandates, all this other foolishness, let it all die as well. Give the power back to the people.